Hello, Valentina. Are you there?
Hi, teacher. Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I'm trying to connect my computer to my Wi-Fi,
Okay.
so now I am in my cell phone.
Okay.
Sorry for
So,
not being in the last two classes, teacher. Now I
all right.
organize all my schedule, and now I'm not gonna fail anymore.
Okay, that's good. Yes, I mean, today is like we're going to start. The first day was to tell you some important dates, some very important things to know. Okay, but today we're going to start with a very important thing, which are the strategies. So as long as you can work these days and you have your presentations on Mondays, it's going to be good. Okay.
What presentations, teacher?
Every Monday, remember that last course you had essays, right? You had to write essays.
Yes.
But this month, as this course is listening and speaking, instead of essays, you have to prepare oral presentations. All right. And for Monday, every Monday, you're going to prepare a 10-minute presentation in which you are going to prepare, of course, a PowerPoint and you're going to explain whatever topic you want. Okay. It's
In
going to be very,
PowerPoint?
yes, that's correct because you're going to be sharing your screen and you have to show something. It could be some words if you want. You could add some pictures. You can prepare the PowerPoint in the way you want. All right, there's no parameters for that. You can do it in the way you want, but you have to show something. It doesn't matter if it's just some words, as I was telling you, or some pictures, but any topic you want, and 10 minutes to talk about that. After those 10 minutes, and after you finish making your presentation, you are going to be asked some questions, okay, for 5 minutes. So it's 10 minutes of you talking about your topic, 5 minutes of asking some questions and answering those questions. All right. For example, it can be a bit about whatever you want. You were talking, for example, last time I think for healthy diet or something like that. So you can do the same for this presentation. For example,
And the
this
presentation. Sorry, teacher. Sorry.
no, it's okay. No, I was going to tell you, for example, this Monday is going to be the first presentation, right? So you need to think of an idea now. So tell me, Valentina, what were you going to say?
Uh, the presentation in PowerPoint. Um, in the presentation it's only for pictures, or can write something to help me to remind what I have to say?
If you want, it can be only words. You can write, and that's going to be to help you, right? If you want, you can add some pictures, but none of those is like obligatory. But you need to have either words, okay, to write something, or you need to add pictures. Or if you want, you can add both, right? Writing and pictures. That's up to you. One of those at least. Okay?
Teacher.
All right. So, Valentina, we're going to start with the class. Look, if you check, we always have a folder, right? So I'm going to show you again. I'm sharing my screen as always, and you know that you are already in this folder. This is the A14 folder this time.
This is our last course, right?
Yes, that's correct. This is going to be your last course. All right,
Good.
A14 is the last one. So these are like the last skills that you're going to be practicing. After this course, actually, you have other ones that are optionals. For example, the preparation for the TOEFL. All right, but
Oh,
it's not
okay.
obligatory. It's
And
optional.
after this course we are going to have a certificate
Yes, yes, you're going to receive a certification. Exactly. When you finish
certification.
this, you are going to, well, coordination is going to contact you and they are going to tell you what you need to send so that they can give you the certification. All right?
Cool. Thank you.
Good. You're very welcome. So as you can see in my screen, right, you already have all the contents that you're going to be covering with me. And this is really, really important to know. Uh, last class with Maria Elena, which is here, we were already covering these speaking strategies. But right now we're going to cover this again very briefly. And this is what you need to do in your presentations. All right, these strategies are the ones that you need to apply in all your presentations. There's no structure yet. Remember in the essay, you had introduction and so on and so forth. Right now, you don't have that. But in the last part, you're going to have a structure too. In the meantime, this is what we're going to do. So let me show you. All right. This is the first document that you're going to be learning with me. Again, the first two strategies were already covered with Maria Elena, but we're going to do it with you again, very brief. Now, let's read some of these, please. Some of you are here already, so I would like you to read this. Viviana, let's start reading the first 2 points, please.
Okay, teacher. Don't use your head to translate rather than thinking of synonyms or simpler explanations. Accept the idea that you'll make mistakes and that you won't understand everything.
Thank you very much. The next two, please, and the next three. Let's finish everything, please. Andrea, if you're there. From this part, don't look.
Don't look for specific words. Keep your speech simple. Add new words little by little.
Okay, thank you very much. Andrea, your like the volume of your microphone is very, very low. I was able to hear you, but very, very low.
Okay, I
All right,
will.
just check that, please. Okay, so great. Thank you. You have these 5 ideas, which I was saying this to Maria Elena, right? This is obvious. You sometimes know this. This is something that perhaps you already know, but it's important, please. If you follow this advice, it's going to be very helpful for your presentations. Don't use your head to translate. Think of synonyms. Think of other options. Don't try to find the same word, all right? Try to think of simpler words. That's the best thing you can do. And also, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Make lots of mistakes. You're going to learn that way. At least when you're in class, try to do that when you're practicing with me, because I'm going to help you out. All right. So this is the very first strategy. Again, this is something we started covering last class at the end of the last class, but we're going to do it again because I want you to know this due to the fact that you have to apply all this information for Monday. All right. Remember, Monday is going to be the first oral presentation, so you need to prepare something. I'm going to explain more at the end of the class. So please, again, this time, Valentina. What is the word paraphrase? How can you describe this word? What is paraphrase for you?
A paraphrase.
Yes.
It's when you I don't know how can I explain that, because it's when you try to explain something
Mhm.
in a simple way. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Actually, that's very accurate, Valentina. Very well. It's when you want to and when you have to explain something or tell something in your own words. And of course, it's going to be in a simpler way. That's great. Thank you very much. So this is the first strategy. This is obvious again, but some people get stuck here. They want to be very complex when they speak English, but they don't have the resources to speak English in that way. And it's not bad. I mean, I was saying this many, many times. It's not bad. Just try to be simple. Let's do this again with you, please, Viviana. Let's read the complex idea.
Okay, complex. She angered me with her inappropriate comments, rumor spreading, and disrespectfulness at the formal dinner table.
Thank you very much. What about the simple paraphrase, Andrea?
She made me angry when she was rude at dinner.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, this is again something very simple to understand, but few people keep their English simple. And it's the thing you have to do. When you want to get fluid, it seems the opposite. But if you really want to get fluid, you really want to be simple and try to be fluid being simple. When you get that, okay, fluidity, when you get to speak the way you want with simple ideas, start adding complex thoughts, right? But if you want to do everything at the beginning with complex thoughts, with complex ideas that you're thinking and you have in mind because you're thinking in Spanish, then you're going to struggle and you're going to stop and you're going to have many pauses and your speech is going to be very, very paused, very, very irregular. All right. So we practice this again. I'm repeating this because I don't want to bore Maria Elena, who already did this with me. But it's important that we do this together again. You're going to read something with me right now, the way you always do it when you are reading, remember, an article on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right now, you're going to do the same, and all of you is going to interpret and is going to paraphrase a specific paragraph in this news that I'm going to show right now. All right? So please be ready. I'm going to be asking anybody that is going to read something over here. So, okay, I'm sharing my screen again. Let's start with you, please, Valentina. Could you please read these two short paragraphs?
Yes. The Democratic Party of us President-elect Joe Biden has won control of the
Signing.
and Senate and of the Congress overall, with two victories in the state of Georgia. Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff defeated Republican incumbents Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, respectively.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Valentina, it's for you again. Try to explain this information in your own words. Not everything, only the things that you can understand.
Well, as Joe Biden won the presidency of USA, he not only won the presidency but also the control of the Senate and of the Congress overall, like said in the first paragraph, because
Okay?
he has the majority in the Congress.
Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Thank you very much, Valentina. Now we're going to continue with you, please, Viviana. I'm sharing my screen again. It was paused. And please, if you can read this part over here. And sorry, it's loading. All right. So this part, please, can you read this, Viviana?
Yes, teacher. Congress is meeting to count the electoral votes and confirm the nomination of President-elect Biden. This process usually takes place without controversy, but the president and his supporters are continuing to dispute the election results, citing unfounded claims of fraud.
Thank you very much. Let's do the same as Valentina did, please, Viviana. How can you paraphrase this idea and explain this in your own words in a simple way?
That the Congress will confirm, will accept formally the the nomination to the president, that Biden is a president of the United States now,
Okay.
and that normally this process is without problems, but now there are like speculations. I don't know how to say. Is
Okay.
that
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Yes. You can say
Speculations
speculations.
that are fraud.
Okay. That it is a fraud, right?
That
Okay.
is a
Good.
fraud. Yes.
Very good. All right. I like the process that you're following. You are using some synonyms, right? That's what you have to do. Thank you very much. Now we're going to do the same with you, please, Andrea. Give me a second. I'm going to change this. And we're going to go to a different article, and we're going to try to explain this again in our own words. And there it is. I'm sharing my screen. So please, Andrea, let's read what is highlighted, and then let's paraphrase after that.
Okay. The Dutch government has coming for stinging criticisms.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Good.
one former one former public health director, Roel Coutinho, warned the country's shameful vaccination strategy was going to cost lives. During an emergency debate in parliament, opposition politicians called the approach chaotic and confusing.
Thank you very much. Now, everything that you were able to understand, please, Andrea, try to convey that information in your own words.
What does stinging means?
Okay, I'm going to tell all the perhaps questions that you have, but right now only the things that you can understand.
Okay. The it talks about criticisms or for the government to the government
Okay,
for the vaccine.
okay.
Uh, it doesn't say much.
Yes. What's the problem there? They're talking about some opposition. What can you say about that? Everybody agrees with this vaccine. Do you think that there's a problem with that? How can you say about that? Perhaps the government and the opposition.
The opposition uh, it's not uh, agreed with the the strategy for the vaccine.
Okay. 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 So that's the basic idea, right? That the government wants to do something, but of course, as in every country, right, the opposition doesn't agree with that idea. Now, this word is just kind of, let's say, an adjective, all right? This is stinging criticism is like very harsh, very hard, okay? Very hard criticism in a very bad way, all right? That's just the meaning of that word. Now,
Okay.
you all did that. Thank you very much. Again, this is the first thing, the very first thing that you need to do. Of course, again, as I did now, you're not going to understand perhaps not only one, but many of the words that you have there. And that's why you need to be able to explain the context and the main idea without those words. All right. At the end of this course, we're going to be doing something very interesting, which is practicing in the TOEFL way, and you're going to have very limited time to give me explanations of some very complex things to see how you're going to manage your ideas in your head. Okay, but this is the first thing. Thank you very much, all of you. Maria Elena, with you, we're going to be participating after the second strategy. So it was the first one. The second one, explain, don't use Spanish. Again, this is not like a sin. If you do it, it's not like the worst thing that you can do, but you have to avoid using Spanish. Of course, with me, with other teachers, with your friends, you feel comfortable using Spanish, but it's not the best idea. It doesn't help you get in, right, fluent in English. You really need to avoid using your native language and try to explain that in a different way. It doesn't matter if you use a lot more words. So let's start with this again, please. You're there. Yes. Valentina, with you again. Let's read these first ideas, please.
If you don't know how to say a word in Spanish, try to express that idea differently. I think that people in orphanatos
Mm-hmm. Good.
should receive more attention from.
Thank you very much. Yes, that word, of course, is in Spanish, right? To make this example clearer. This person in this example is using Spanish because this person doesn't remember the word in English. So, what you should do? Some people use Spanish, and again, that's a way of doing it. But you're not always going to be speaking with someone who speaks Spanish. So, that's not the best solution, right? Perhaps you have to do something else. And this is what we need to do. Viviana, please, let's read this other part.
Okay, as you don't know the meaning of that word, restate your idea and make the listener understand you what you mean. For example, there are these places, in which children without parents are taken care of Those are the places that should receive more attention from.
Thank you very much. So as you're able to see, as you don't know that orphanatos is orphanages or orphanage, you don't know that. It was similar, but you didn't know that. So what is it better to do? To use Spanish? No. It's better to keep practicing your English and to say many things. Look, instead of orphanages, you're saying all of this instead of just one word. But is it incorrect? No. Actually, that's the best option. These are, right, or there are these places. What places? Places in which children without parents are taken care of. Those are the orphanages, right? So this person is explaining that single word with many words. And don't feel uncomfortable or don't feel that you're doing too much for just one word. You're doing the right thing. If you do this and you do this very often, you're going to get used to explaining things that you don't know how to say, and that's going to help a lot. If not, this is going to become like a custom for you, and you're going to get used to doing this all the time. And that's going to be a mistake because you're never going to be learning new words or you're never going to know how to explain that idea that you don't know how to explain. All right. So that is very, very important. And the third one, use synonyms or similar expressions. All right. This is again also something that you should do. Let's understand this a little bit more. So, Maria Elena, this time with you, please. Let's read everything this time with you, Maria Elena. Perhaps she's not there anymore. All right. So, Alejandro, I think you're there too. Are you there, Alejandro? I think both of them are not there. Okay.
Teacher, if you want, I can read it.
Okay. Go ahead, please,
Sorry.
Maria. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Okay. Which part?
Try to read everything this time, please, Maria.
Okay. Don't be radical. Say it differently. If you don't remember this word, manager, say the person is charged. If you don't remember this word, father-in-law, say my husband, wife's father.
All right. Thank you very much, Maria Elena.
You're welcome.
So this is very important. Okay. When you have presentations, and I've seen these last months, and before I also worked in other places, the things that students who are learning English tend to do is that they stop for a while because they want to remember that specific word, and they believe that there is no other way of saying that, right? And they lose time and they get lost even. They get lost after thinking and trying to remember that specific word. They get lost and they don't know what they were saying, right? So a very good thing that you can do and the best thing you can do, if you don't remember the word again in English, you know this word. It's like in the tip of your tongue, right? But you don't remember, then just say something similar. Instead of manager, the person in charge. Instead of father-in-law, my husband's or my wife's father, and so on and so forth. All right? If you don't do this and you keep trying to remember that specific word, or the same that it happened with Spanish, right? Then you're going to be having that lots of problems. Why? Again, because you're going to be thinking too much in things that you shouldn't be thinking. Now you're going to practice this with me, and you're going to do it right now. Remember, this is listening and speaking. So you're going to be, okay, watching and listening to lots of files, and you're going to be doing something interesting. So please, all of you, Alejandro, Elena, Andrea, Viviana, Valentina, you're going to need to do something. I don't know, some of you are using cell phones, perhaps. If you need to disconnect from the class, all right, you're going to do it for 5 minutes. Why? Because you need to record something on your cell phones. All right, you need to record something and you are going to send the recording to the WhatsApp group. All right, That's what you're going to do, please. You're going to record something and you're going to send it to the WhatsApp group. I'm going to explain what now. Look, this is going to be the practice right now. Listen to the files, and actually it's only going to be one file. I'm going to share the link in the chat. And prepare a short presentation about it in your own words. Use the strategies and point out right at the end of the presentation in which part you used each strategy. Okay, so this is it again, and I'm going to explain in my own words. You're going to listen to an audio file. After listening to that file, you're going to try to take notes. And this is for right now. You're going to do this in class. And after listening to that, you're going to explain that audio in your own words. Again, you're not going to understand all the words, that's for sure. All right, that can happen, don't worry. But try to explain only the things that you understand. The audio is going to be like from 3 to 4 minutes long, not more than that. So your explanation should be from 1 minute to 2 or 3 minutes maximum. All right. Do you have any questions? Please let me know, because all of you have to send the link.
Teacher, sorry, can you please give an example?
All right. All right. So what I'm going to do right now with you, actually, I'm going to send you one of the links again. Remember, we were practicing in this way, Maria Elena, but instead of only the audio, we watched some videos, right? And you were explaining those videos. Actually,
Yeah.
that's what you're going to do. But instead of videos, you are going to only listening, okay? You're only going to be listening to audio files. So we're going to practice this.
So, teacher, the audio file you're going to send to the WhatsApp group?
No, it's going to be in the chat. In this chat is going to be.
Okay.
What you're
Okay.
going to set in the WhatsApp group is going to be the audio that you're going to record.
Okay.
All right? Great.
Okay.
So again, this is just an example. Please, again, I'm sharing this in the chat. Take this a look. I'm not going to play it. I want you to play this in your own computers. Okay? Try to watch at least the first minute of this video. Let's do that now, please. Viviana, Andrea, Valentina, Alejandro, even you, Maria Elena. You did it with me last class, but even you. Go to this link, okay? And watch only the first minute. Please watch it, because I'm going to ask any of you, all right, what this video is about. 1 minute, all right? Only for 1 minute, watch this video. Okay, you can start now, please. I'm going to wait for you. Okay, so I'm going to be asking some questions, right? First of all, Viviana, were you able to watch 1 minute of this video?
Yes, teacher. Just 1 minute, right? Because
Yes,
I was continuously. Okay. Yes.
it's enough. Thank you very much, Viviana. What about you, Andrea? Were you able to do it?
Yes, José Luis.
Okay, thank you very much. Valentina, what about you?
No, teacher, because my internet is slow, so I was um, starting to watch the video.
Okay, try to watch it now while we're going to do the practice. All right, just
Okay.
1 minute. All right, and Alejandro, I don't know if you are there now. All right, so let's try to work with you, please, girls. Maria Elena already watched that video. So the first
Yes.
question, um, this video, right? Is it a serious news source? Is it one kind of comedy? What is it? Viviana, that question is for you. Is it a serious news source? Is it kind of a comedy? Is it a talk show? What is it for you?
It's like a new news show, but with comedy.
All
Like
right.
not serious, but in the comedy they put like news.
That's correct. All right. That's a really good way of describing it. Thank you very much. Now, Andrea, this is for you. What about the accent of this person? Oh, where do you think this person is from? Do you think that he is from the US? Do you think that he is from the UK? From Australia? What do you think?
He is from the UK.
Yes, yes, that's correct. Thank you very much. So, again, you only watched 1 minute, but please, um, with you both, girls, Valentina perhaps is still watching. The first part of the video, he is trying to locate a country in a map, right? Please try to explain me why he is doing that, and what is the purpose of doing that, just according to what you understand and what you believe, please. What do you say? Let's start with you, please, Andrea. Why do you think that he started doing something like that?
Sorry, what was the question, José Luis?
At the beginning, I don't know if I think it was part of the first minute. He was trying to locate a country in a map, right? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. He was doing it in a very strange way, right? Why do you think that he was playing like that? What country was he trying to locate? What other country he mentioned? And why you think he was doing that? What was the purpose?
He was trying to locate Bolivia,
Mhm.
and he said that it's a country that not many people talk about,
All right.
and doesn't really know. A lot of people don't really know where Bolivia is located, where Bolivia is.
Thank you very much. That's correct. You're right. Of course, this also makes reference to American culture, right? To how some Americans are in geography in general. That's great.
Okay.
Now, Viviana, he was mentioning also another country. What else were you able to listen in that first minute of the video, Viviana?
When he was explaining the map or other thing.
You can mention a little bit about the map if you have something to add, perhaps, or some other thing that you were able to listen and that you're able to remember now.
Okay, I remember that he says that nobody knows where Colombia is.
Uh-huh.
Then he start like saying a bad news, and he jokes about that because he says I I am going to talk about good news, but he start talking about chaos and traffic and a
Okay, good.
tragedy, like the tragedy that is in La Paz.
Okay, okay, that's correct. Yes, that's right, right? And he did it in a funny way because, yes, you're right. He was trying to finish a show because that was part of a bigger show. And that was like the last part. And he wanted to finish like in a funny way, right? Entertaining people. But at the end, he said, I'm going to try to, I don't know, talk about something else. And he mentions the bad things like the traffic in La Paz. So that's correct. So again, that's something that we're going to be doing now. And actually, this is something that we already did again with Maria Elena, but I wanted to do it because this is what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to send you the link of an audio. Actually, it's going to be a lecture. Do you know what a lecture is? Who can tell me what is a lecture? What do you say? It's in the chat again.
It's like a paragraph, something to read.
Okay, that paragraph. We're going to see if it is that indeed. We're going to see that. What else do you think, Maria Elena? What do you think that a lecture is? In the chat, you can see the word also. Or Andrea, if you are there too.
Sorry, teacher.
Maria,
Yes,
yes,
sorry.
tell me, what do you think that lecture is? What do you think that word means, or how can you interpret that word?
Lecture. Sorry, my dog.
Don't worry.
Um, maybe when you read something, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
like an educational talk.
All right. All right. That could be closer. You're saying educational talk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
All
maybe
right.
for some audience or for a student,
All right.
college, something like this.
Thank you very much. And what
Okay.
about you, please, Andrea? What do you think that a lecture is? Or if you know the meaning, perhaps.
I'm not sure. It's something like Maria Elena said. So you a text you can read that is not very long.
Okay, okay. Now, I'm going to explain this in my own words. Then you can look for it. All right. A lecture is going to be very close to Maria Elena said, but in the last part, is like a presentation or something that a person is going to talk about, an educational talk, as she was saying. All right. For example, when you are at university, you have many lectures. You go, for example, to Biology 101. The professor there is going to give a lecture in this topic. I don't know, microorganisms. So what is the lecture there? Is the teacher or the professor explaining that topic to the students. All right? That is a lecture. It is confusing because of the word and because of the similarity with some other words that we have in Spanish. But in English, all right, at least in the academic world, at universities, it's going to be that presentation, all right, that explanation on behalf, right, of a certain topic from part of the professor. So a professor is explaining a certain topic to the students, all right. I can explain that word in that way. So this is what you're going to be listening right now. You're going to listen to a lecture. There's going to be someone explaining a topic to you. And of course, he was supposed to explain that to his students. So let's do the same process. And again, please, what you're going to do, and why do I want you to record? Because it's only going to be one lecture for all of you, and you're going to record your answers at the same time. And we're going to listen to what you were able to understand, and we're going to see the similarities in your interpretations or how you were able to paraphrase those ideas. Okay? So if everything is clear, we're going to begin. If you have some questions, please just let me know. Again, listen to this lecture and explain what you were able to understand in 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes, but I would say that 1 minute is more than enough. All right? Great. So we're going to begin. Again, if you want to listen to this again, everything is in the folder. But I'm going to share the link with you so that you can listen to this very, very quickly. Okay, also just in case this lecture is part of one of the international tests, which is the TOEFL. And the thing you're going to do again is just paraphrasing what you understand.
Sorry, teacher, my internet is a little bad. You said that you will read the lecture, or we have to read and send you the explanation, the paraphrasing.
Yeah, and actually, this is not going to be like a reading, because a lecture is someone speaking, all right? It's someone explaining something, but like giving a class, all right? That's a lecture. A professor speaking and explaining something, a very specific topic to the students. So this file that I'm sharing with you in the chat, it's an audio file, all right? So you have to listen to this, try to understand everything you can, and after listening to this, I'm going to give you again, let's say 5 minutes, because this is a very short listening. After doing that, you're going to have, let's say, from 2 to 3 minutes to record your answer and send it to the chat. Okay? Again, please, if you have questions, let me know. The link is in the chat already. If everything is clear for you, all right, I'm going to understand that, well, you don't have more questions. So I'm going to start giving you 5 minutes to listen to this lecture.
How many time? How much time we have to send the paraphrasing?
So first, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. It means until 6:50, well, 50, 51, 52. I'm going to tell you stop. All right, that's only for listening. So you can listen and you can, if you want, one time, or you can repeat some parts, because I think this lasts, I'm going to check this right now. I think this lasts like 3, 4 minutes. Let me check now. I'm going to verify this now and I'm going to let you know. Give me a second. But I think is first I'm going to give you time to listen to this. It's 2 minutes and 40 seconds. All right, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So you can listen to this almost 2 times. So if you want, do it. I'm going to give you 5 minutes and you can listen to this up to 2 times. I'm going to tell you, please stop listening to that. And I'm going to give you the order. And I'm going to tell you, now you have, please, 3 minutes to record. But you don't have to record for 3 minutes if you don't want. It's enough with 1 minute. But I'm going to give you 3, because if you make mistakes and you want to repeat the recording, stop and start again. All right? Do you understand? Please let me know again if you have questions.
It's okay. Thank you, teacher.
All right. Thank you. So let's begin now, please. You have 5 minutes and you can listen up to 2 times the recording. Let's begin, please. I'm going to tell you when to stop. Begin.
Sorry, teacher. I don't know if I am the only one, but I can't hear the lecture.
Okay, I just checked, Viviana, and it's working. It's weird. Try to download perhaps the file. Sometimes it doesn't play there. Try to download it because it's working. It's working right now. I'm going to try to also do something. Try to do it again, Viviana. Try to download the file or listen again. But I'm going to try to share this in the group as well.
Okay, I download and I can hear now. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much for letting me know. All right. I think that you were able to listen it at least once, right? And perhaps you were starting a second time. You can use a little bit of the time you have now to listen a part of it again if you want. But right now, I'm going to take into account that is 6:55, let's say. You have 3 minutes, okay, to record yourselves explaining that lecture. Very briefly, you have to paraphrase. Remember, follow those strategies. Use synonyms if you understand the context but you don't know the exact word, and so on and so forth. All right? 3 minutes. You don't have to record 3 minutes. It's enough with 1 minute. But you can stop and record again. It's up to you. All right? So starting now, please, 3 minutes to record. And when you finish recording, you can send that recording to the WhatsApp group. All right?
Okay, teacher, we have to paragraph not to answer the final questions.
Exactly. Just paraphrase. Exactly. Only paraphrase in your own words. Don't answer the last questions. That could help you, perhaps, all right, the questions that they are making because it's an idea. But only paraphrasing, not answering the questions. All right, let's begin.
Teacher, I'm going to leave the class to record the audio, okay?
Okay, go ahead, please, Maria Elena. I'll be waiting for you after that.
Okay.
All right, Andres, so let's wait for your partners. They're going to be back in a second, and we're going to start checking everything. All right, they must be finishing recording, and you imagine that Viviana is going to be here very soon. So what I'm going to do first, sorry, what I'm going to start doing, okay, Viviana is here, great. So with the two of you, please, I'm going to start playing your recordings, all right, Viviana and Andrea. I'm going to play your recordings so that you can hear what you and your partners said. And you're going to tell me if there was important information that was missed, or perhaps if there was some misinterpretation of what some of you were able to listen. Okay? So we're going to do it in the order that I received the files. So we're going to start with Andrea's answer. All right, I'm going to play it here. And please, Viviana, you're going to let me know if she got the important information, if she was able to listen to something that you were not able to listen, or the opposite. You can say that. And the same, Andrea. You are going to do the same with Viviana's answer. Okay, so I will start. Let me know if you can listen, please. I'm going to play it now. Let me know first if you're able to listen. The purpose of this lecture is to talk about human migration. Okay, can you listen to that, Andrea, Viviana?
Yes, teacher.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to continue. The purpose of this lecture is to talk about human migration. People survive the ice age. First, people migrate from the savannas of Africa to Europe and Asia, and they survive the ice age by plants, like having something to eat, food and plants, crops, having clothes to wear, and and essentially controlled by the control of the fire. Then the speaker talk about the occupied land. He talks about that not only people migrate to new lands, but also invade occupied lands by killing, mixing with the people, or displacing these people. And it's something that people continue doing. So he said that human migration seems to be a fundamental instinct that we have. The chronological order for the migration was first to Africa, to Europe and Asia, then to Indonesia, Japan, and Australia, then to North America, South America, and Greenland. All right. So the first thing I'm going to ask, right, for you, Viviana, were you able to understand, to listen to the same information? What information did Andrea mention that you didn't? Or what thing you believe that was something that not only you didn't listen, but perhaps if it was the case, that it was incorrect? Let me know, please, Viviana.
No, I think that it mentioned in a better detail than mine all the countries, it's not countries, the continents that where the people were migrated.
Okay.
I think that the idea, the main idea is there.
All right.
I heard a word that I didn't heard in the that I didn't understood in the first in the lecture, but I understood now with this
Andrea's explanation.
yes, with Andrea's explanations that was displayed. I don't remember when she was talking about the occupied land, when I understand that the humans occupied new land, but yes, displaced
All right.
like replacing the people there and
Okay.
forcing that people to go to another country, maybe. That's all.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Viviana. Yes, I agree with you. All the important facts perhaps were mentioned. We're going to see all details after we listen to some of your answers as well. But yeah, it was great that she was able to mention some places, the way it worked, right? The order in which these migrations happened, and some interesting facts about that, which is really interesting. And again, this is really important because listening is is one of those skills that many people struggle with, and having the opportunity, and also the opportunity, right, the ability to capture and to apprehend all the information and convey that information is really essential. Again, not just for communication, but also for some tests if you're interested in taking them. Thank you very much. Now let's go with you, and actually we're going to do something else. Yeah, we're going to go with you now, please, Viviana. And Andrea, you know what you did. You heard also Viviana's comments. Now we're going to listen to Viviana's answer, right? And you're going to let me know perhaps what you think was missing, or also Viviana said that she didn't give these details about the continents and so on, but perhaps she was able to mention something in a different way. Let me know what that was. All right, so let me begin now.
The lecture is about migration of the humans. The professor says that the migration was a fundamental part of the evolution of the human. The humans start migrations from Africa to Asia, and then to America, and finally they spread all over the world. When they are migrating, they pass the ice age, and they survive. The human survives because they can control fire, and they can make clothes. So that was their strategy. And they also invaded occupied lands, and they mixed with other citizens and in the other lands. So now we continue doing this because we see a lot of mixed people all over the world.
All right, and that's it. Now, again, for you, Andrea, the questions that I made, what are the things that you believe that Viviana mentioned that are worth repeating again? What are the things that perhaps or you didn't mention, or you didn't believe that was as important to mention? What can you say about Viviana's recording, Andrea? Please let me
I think it was like a sum up, like compact, but have the information, like the general information that the lecture talks about, not in detail, but have all the general information.
Okay, okay. What do you think that perhaps was the main idea that Viviana was giving by mentioning all those things in that way? Do you believe that she was focusing in a different thing that you were, or do you believe that both of you got the same main idea?
I think that I thought that I did wrong because there are 5 questions that someone talks in the lecture, so I followed those 5 questions, but I think Viviana did what you said, is like over all their lecture, talks about what you understand.
All right, all right. Yes, in a certain way, you had different approaches, and perhaps it was well. What happened was what you mentioned, right? But you guided yourself on the questions at the end of the lecture, whereas Viviana was following more a general idea of what was happening, right? Okay, Thank you very much. We're going to continue with this. Okay, we already did Andreas and Viviana's recording. I think you're still here. Okay, yes, you changed. Viviana, you're there. So Maria Elena and Valentina. Again, Andrea and Viviana are here. Now that they listened to the recordings, they also have more concrete and solid ideas of the lecture, I think, because I'm going to be asking some questions after this. Let's keep listening. All right, this is going to be a good way of practicing. Let's keep listening to what Maria Elena recorded now. I think that I got this one over here. Is 17. Okay, let's listen to this, please. Let's pay attention.
The lecture is about a human migration and how through the years humanity has developed and evolved and how we spread rapidly around the world. And also that we are able to survive thanks to our instinct.
All right, you did it in a very, very short way, right, Maria Elena? So you mentioned
Yes,
some.
the summary of the summary. Sorry, teacher.
All right, all right. So you mentioned some things. I'm going to play it again, all right? And I'm going to be asking your partners, perhaps, what are some things that you forgot to mention here, not in a very extended way, but in a very simple way as well, okay?
Okay.
So let me play this again. So this is for all of you, Andrea, Viviana, and Valentina. This is a very short summary, but let me know what are the things, the very important things that she should have mentioned if perhaps the instruction was to record a 20-second summary. All right? Tell me, what is that information that perhaps is missing?
The lecture is about a human migration and how through the years humanity has developed and evolved and how we spread rapidly around the world. And also that we are able to survive thanks to our instinct.
All right. So I think this is a really interesting approach because, you know, sometimes the hardest part is to be simple, as we were saying, right? I think that doing a thing like this, it's also really positive because she's mentioning many things that actually are really, really important for the lecture. And she has, Mamarina said, right, the summary of the summary. But I think it has some important and very important information. But now my question is for you again, Viviana, Andrea, Valentina. What information do you think is missing here, if something is missing, or what would you have mentioned in this short period of time? What do you say? I'm going to be listening. All right. I'm going to be asking then. Andrea, what do you say? What facts, perhaps, or what kind of information do you believe that is worth mentioning when you are working in a very short summary like this?
First, like everyone begin with the main topic, like what the lecture is about. Then some facts, not all the facts, but important facts, like the migration from some areas to other areas. What else?
What else could it be? For example, in what category can you, because Maria Elena mentioned this in a very interesting word, why do they mention fire and clothes? What is that ability, that skill? Well, why is that important to mention?
Because it was the skills that help people to survive.
Yes, yes, that's correct. Thank you very much. Now, what about you, Viviana? Again, you listen to this. What else would you add to Maria Elena's summary? Do you believe that she mentioned all the things that she needed in a very short way, or was she missing something important there?
I think that just maybe mention the first place like Africa, because I think that it's important to know where is the beginning of all this migration. But then
Okay.
all the facts, and not in detail, but it's there. If you took one word, um,
Each word is explaining one thing of all the lecture.
Okay, thank you very much. So you would add the information that Africa was like the beginning, right? The starting point of everything. And then everything else was mentioned in a short way, but it was mentioned. And actually, yes, I agree. Perhaps some important facts were, well, worth mentioning there, but the main ideas were there. Now we're going to finish, please, with you, Valentina. Let's listen to this. Again, I'm going to be asking you some comments one more time, and then we're going to discuss a little bit about this. Because again, this class is to practice, to talk, to listen, and to improve our skills. All right? Let's listen.
The audio is in an anthropology class where the teacher is talking about human migration. He said that people is always moving, and 1,000 years ago, humans migrated to South Africa to Asia. From South Africa to Asia, humans survived the Ice Age with their ability to make things like their clothing, and more importantly, the ability that they had to control fire. And people start migrating to another countries. But human migration is not only to take a lonely place. People also invaded to occupy that places through killing, displacing, or both. And now people continue doing these things to occupy places. We can see that migration is a fundamental human instinct.
All right, perfect. I think all of you, all right, did a great job. The main ideas, everything is there. Now, there is something really interesting that I think Valentina, right, mentioned that perhaps you didn't because you focus on the topic, which is what I asked, right? But what is the fact or the information that Valentina mentioned that perhaps you didn't? Who can tell me? Anything that you were able to recognize. Again, this is for you, Andrea, Maria Elena, Viviana. What information or what thing that Valentina said was interesting for you and that you didn't mention in your own explanation?
That the start of human migration happens thousands of years ago.
Okay, all right. Yes, that's one thing that was mentioned, and that had some emphasis, right, Valentina's. What else? What kind of class was this? Who mentioned what kind of class was this? What subject was this, or related to what?
Anthropology.
All right, anthropology, yes. Okay, so these are things, right, that helps us, mm, having these ideas and perhaps being sure what this lecture is going to be about. So I think those are really interesting things that were worth mentioning, even the specific parts, right? Not only Africa, but mentioning that it was perhaps South Africa, right? Things and those little details that could be really interesting mentioning. All right. So with all this information, again, I think you did a great job. Now I'm going to be asking you this. I don't know how much knowledge you have. I imagine that I have the same knowledge you have in this subject. Perhaps you have even more and you can help us out. All right. But to finish this, I don't know who left. All right. To finish with this, let's have discussion, all right, on this topic, migration. Again, and this is going to be a question. I'm going to be asking this to all of you. Andrea, this is a similar question that I asked before. Fire. Why was fire important for humanity? All right. And what was the period, very briefly, all right, that was crucial for surviving, perhaps? And fire was very important there. What can you tell me about that?
In the Ice Age, because of the food and the fire help to make you warm, to keep you warm, and to cook
Okay.
food.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. And Viviana, to complement that, that is related, right? We mentioned also clothing and so on. What did humans needed to do to have these clothing? What is the activity that they needed to practice?
Hunting, because it makes with the letter of the some.
Okay, okay, that is correct because they needed to use right leather or the skin of some animals, right? The fur, perhaps something to make them get warm, right? To make them get warm. And I don't know if you remember this, Valentina. You can try to tell me because this can be a little bit hard. But you were mentioning this at the beginning. What was the first place that was supposed to be like, you don't know, us, right, in which humans were developing? And what was the last place? What do you remember about that, Valentina? What was the first and what was the last place?
I think that the first was in South. I forgot. South.
It's okay. It's okay. You have the idea there because you mentioned that.
Yeah, and the last place I don't remember, teacher.
All right. Who can help Valentina with that? What was the first place and what was the last one? Perhaps, Andrea, you had that in detail.
The first place from Africa to Europe and Asia, and the last place was to Greenland.
All right. All right. So the last place that they mentioned was Greenland. What about you, Viviana? Do you agree with that? Do you remember something different? What was the first one and the last place that humans were migrating to? What do you say, Viviana? Is that correct? Do you remember what was the first place and the last place? All right. Yeah, but I think you got it well. All right, Andrea. Again, we're going to be finishing with this. This is something that we need to practice, not just listening skills, right? Speaking skills, but trying to apply these kind of strategies that again are obvious. These are the first ones. These are very obvious, but they are very helpful, right? In trying to help us what kind of information we're going to convey, to use other words, because it doesn't matter that we don't understand all the words in a listening or that someone is saying, right? It's enough that we understand the main idea there. The only thing that I'm going to be asking you again, just to be careful with that, is the tenses that you're using when you're explaining. Sometimes you're mixing present with past, but in a way that you don't want to do it because of the context that you're using. Be careful, right, with the auxiliary did. When you use did, you have to use the the base form of the verb, right? So instead of saying I didn't understood, it's better if you say I didn't understand, right? And if you're talking about something that passed, right, instead of they start migrating, it's better if you say they started migrating because you're telling something that was in the past. All right. That was perhaps the mistake that was the most notorious ones, but everything else seems to be okay. So we're going to be finishing here. It's that, well, Maria Elena left, but here is the poll. Please answer it the way you know, and we're going to be finishing today's class.
Teacher, I I have to leave.
Are you there? Okay, Viviana, you say something?
Yes. Thank you, teacher.
All right. No, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here today, for participating in today's class. Tomorrow is the conversation as always. On Friday, we're going to continue with other strategies. We're going to listen to something else, and we're going to be sharing and discussing about other topics. All right?
Okay. Teacher, no, it's okay. We have 15 minutes tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's correct. It's going to be 15 minutes. This time I have a lot of students in the other course and I'm until 10:30, all right, and at night. So it's going to be
Okay.
hard to have more time for you.
No, no, don't worry. If you want to change maybe in maybe earlier, is better for you. I'm okay.
Okay, okay, that would be great. That would be great, Vivian. I'm going to write then on WhatsApp. I'm going to tell you one time and you're going to tell me if it's okay for you. Okay?
Okay, okay. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you very much. Have a great night and thanks again for everything. Andrea.
No, it's okay. Thank you, Jose Luis.
You're very welcome, Andrea. Have a good night. Take care and see you tomorrow for the conversation.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, Valentina. See you.